My stepmom used to be my dad's affair partner and always cries about how sad and hard her life is, but I laughed when my aunt told her depression does not make you bounce up and down on the stick of a married man, and now I'm in trouble. Posted by you/fancy_yard 802. Sorry for any mistakes, my first language is Spanish. Long story short, 2 years ago, my father left my mother to be with his mistress, whom I will call Anna. My mother had no idea about the infidelity. Anna knew my father was married, she even went to the house with him to take his things. One day, he simply told my mother that he was no longer in love with her and wanted to be happy with Anna. I was there when everything happened. Anna was depressed, she has many scars on her legs and arms. I don't go to my father's house because it makes me uncomfortable to be around them for obvious reasons. Anna is overly nice, which makes it even more uncomfortable. A few days ago, it was my grandfather's birthday, and the whole family was together, including Anna. I have an aunt who suffers from depression and other more serious issues like schizophrenia. She has tried to hurt herself many times. At one point in the night, only my father, my aunt, Anna, another aunt, and I were in the living room. For some reason, my aunt and Anna were talking about serious things, and at one point, Anna began to say that depression made her do many things in an attempt to feel fulfilled. She said she could only overcome depression when she met my father, and that he saved her. Meeting him was the key to overcoming her depression, and now she's finally happy thanks to him. I know about that, because Anna often tries to bond with me by telling me how much she suffered in her life, and how my father saved her. She has always justified herself by saying that she was depressed and in a hard place in her life before my father saved her. It always makes me feel uncomfortable, and I don't feel any empathy for her, no matter how sweet she is. Talking about how many times you've tried to unalive yourself in front of my 8-year-old sister is not something normal. Anna has always tried to paint her relationship with my father as a fairy tale that began in a different way, but she says she doesn't regret anything because her world is perfect now. At that moment, my aunt said something like, I tried to save myself by going to a psychologist, not by jumping on the stick of a married man. She then added that depression made her want to jump off a bridge, not ruin a family. I just laughed, it was funny. My aunt may have her mind elsewhere all day, but it was crazy to see her make such a sly comment. But when my father was taking me home, Anna was crying, and he scolded me for laughing at what my aunt said, saying that no one knows everything Anna suffered. I mean, I think I know, it's all she always talks about. I didn't apologize, but now I'm wondering, was I really wrong to laugh? From my point of view, my aunt was right. Update 4 days later. Hello, some things happened over the weekend. I live with my mom, and my aunt came over and told my mom what happened. My sister is an 8-year-old girl, and she really hates Anna. Anna once tried to get along with my sister, and she told her about the time she wanted to commit suicide and how my dad saved her. After that, my sister came home asking my mother if she had ever thought about committing suicide. That's not a question an 8-year-old girl should be asking, and my sister even asked me questions about suicide after that. I don't really know exactly what else Anna said to her, but it definitely affected her as a little girl. It's not something you should talk about with a child of that age. My mother was furious, and since that day, she has forbidden my father from having my younger sister around Anna, as she considers her a dangerous and unstable person to be around children. Since then, things have been really tense between my father and my mother, but my little sister doesn't want to visit our father, so she's fine with this. My aunt told my mother that Anna talked about it again, but this time in front of me. Apparently, my father and Anna were totally forbidden from discussing these things in front of me as well. I'm not a little kid, but that was apparently the arrangement my mother made with my father when she set boundaries for them. My aunt told her what happened that day, and I confessed to my mother that Anna and my father often talk about those suicide attempts in front of me. It's something I should have brought up earlier, but at the time, I didn't want to cause any problems and decided to just ignore it. I also told my mom that this is the reason I stopped going to my father's house. My mother got very upset with him, and the next day, she went to talk to my father. I don't know what they talked about, she just came back saying that Anna can't get close to us anymore. She told me that she can't forbid me from being near my father and that it's my decision, but Anna is absolutely forbidden from being in the same place as my sister and me. My paternal grandparents agreed, as did my aunts, they were already aware of the situation with my younger sister. I haven't spoken to my father, but my cousin told me that my father argued with my grandfather. He often says that Anna is a good person and that we don't understand the pain she suffered, so I guess he's upset with all of us now for our great lack of empathy, as he always says. I don't know, but at least now I won't see them for a while. It was a boring update, but that's what happened, haha. Up in the comments. My father is only 3 years older than Anna, she isn't much younger than him or anything like that. From what Anna has told me, and she always tells this story, they met at work. She would call my father every time she tried to commit suicide, and that's how he began to help her. Anna used to see a psychologist but said she decided to stop because it didn't help her. Then she met my father, and, well, according to her, he saved her. It's disturbing to hear her talk about how she always sent messages to my father since he was her only support, her words, and how he would drop everything at home to go to her whenever she was feeling bad. A sociopath in my books. Update 224 days later. Hi, I wasn't planning on making another update, but we've had a lot of problems with Anna, too many, and I think even my father is starting to realize that she's crazy. I stopped visiting my father, and my paternal grandparents no longer allow him to bring Anna to their house, especially since I'm there a lot and my mother doesn't allow her to come near me or my sister. Anna has started behaving strangely by sending me texts. At first, she apologized but then insisted that my father misses me and my sister. I told her that my mother doesn't allow us to talk to her, and she responded by saying that since she's my father's partner, we have to get used to her being around. She then started badmouthing my mother, saying that I'm too young to realize it, but my mother is manipulating us and that it's wrong because she's preventing us from being a family. I'm young, but I'm not dumb. I didn't respond to Anna again, and I instead showed the messages to my mother, who spoke to my father about it. He had no idea about the text and apparently had an argument with Anna afterward. Now, my mother is planning to remove his last name from ours to end this situation and protect us. I don't fully understand the process, but in my country, you can go to court and have your father's surname removed, which would also take away his rights over you. Honestly, I believe neither my sister nor I would have a problem with this, but I think my mother may have mentioned it just to scare him. This is something I heard from my aunt, so I don't know how much of it is true, but apparently, my father has been staying at my grandparents' house. One night, Anna went there, knocking on the door looking for him, just to argue. She and my father started arguing, and Anna yelled at him, saying he couldn't leave her like that. The situation didn't escalate further because my grandfather kicked her out. My aunt also told me that my father confided in her that Anna has been sending him messages like, "If you leave me, I will unalive myself," and, "You can't leave me," so he's afraid to leave her, and he's afraid of her. Less than 2 days ago, I found out that my father had to leave work quickly because Anna sent him goodbye messages. Nothing serious happened to her, she just cut her arms as she usually does. My aunt said this is something Anna has always done, even when the affair started, she would send him messages saying she was about to commit suicide so that my father would rush to her. This is something Anna also told me, but in a more romantic way, which always scared me. I have no contact with my father and I avoid him when he's at my grandpa's house. From what my aunt has told me, he doesn't know what to do because he misses us but is afraid to leave her, worried she might actually unalive herself. I feel bad for thinking this, but I'm honestly relieved to be hearing all this from afar. I'm so thankful that my mom forbade us from seeing her before all this happened. And honestly, this is his karma, so I'm not going to get involved.